There are 2 semi-finals spots left, and one of them is going to come down to Gambit and X10. Let's talk about Gambit first. They're the team that won the most recent international tournament, but so far here, Tom, they've dropped maps at places where nobody expected them to.
It's been a little shaky, hasn't it? It's not been the same Gambit that we saw previously. Like, I will admit, it seemed like last time they almost got into a playoff state, and then we were looking at them going, okay, now they're just kind of running through everybody. But that was also because they then knew they'd qualify for Champions, which is not the case this time, because we're at Champions.
Are we, Tom? Thanks for reminding us.
Thank you for that clarification. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's pretty apparent and clear. I know that the desk has touched on it a lot of the times in the past. Is hey, all eyes are on this Gambit squad, right? And so I think you're kind of seeing this reinvention, maybe a little bit of an identity crisis. We've seen some weird, odd pushes coming out of this Gambit squad, and the odd thing is, for a player like Nats, he shines when he's able to use the clock to his advantage, snake his way through, find a weird angle that no one expects him to be, right? And there's that sort of conflict, because if you look on the other side, Defo, he's in there, man. He's always at the top of that first kill, first duel contact. He's always looking for little skirmishes across the map, and that's all fine and dandy. But if he gets picked off on the other side of the map and Nats is trying to slow work the extremity on the other side, there's that weird, wonky misbalance there.
Yeah, I think as well, like, one of the things I wanted to highlight about Nats in particular is what we saw previously was the sort of what you were saying. He was able to lurk through and actually had pretty good opening duel stats, which was something that was really absurd for someone who's playing that Sentinel role. At the previous event, 37 to 32, pretty good opening duel stats for a Sentinel. He is 5 and 15. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually the worst in the entire tournament, which, considering how much impact he used to have on their attack, and being that their attack has always been weaker, now that he's gone missing, they have started to rely on us, as you mentioned. Defo, currently one of the best players in the whole event.
I mean, how much of that do you think comes down to people, like I said, after Masters Berlin, everybody knows what Nats does. You have people in literally solo queue playing the way that Nats plays. How much of that is down to, Tom, the fact that people have figured out what Gambit do with him?
Well, I think there's 2 things. One, he's only been playing Viper so far this event, which has definitely been something a little bit weird, although I will highlight Chronicle a little bit later and how well he's been playing. But I also think a lot of the stuff he used to do on the attack was like picking up that poison orb to get an advance. You can't do that anymore. Or using his Cypher cages in ways that maybe people hadn't done it before. Well, if he's not playing that agent, he can't really do that either.
Yeah, it is odd because, again, Nats isn't only being, all eyes aren't just on Nats because they won. All eyes are on Nats because he was the best damn Viper that we had in the entire world.
MVP?
He was showing us moves and setups and little traps that no other Viper ever even thought about. So that clever brain maybe is making him overthink some things. But for me, it's pretty simple. Gambit, they don't really have to reinvent the entire wheel, right? Their game plan was absolutely solid. I'd like to see them sticking to that, stick to their strengths, which is, again, utilizing that clock, run it down, default the map.
Yeah, I think luckily for them, they do have a ridiculous depth in roster so that when someone like Nats is not doing all of those crazy things, you do have players that can take over the game. But they have had to come back from, like, what, 7 rounds in a row from a deficit that would have knocked them out or knocked them down. That is a scary prospect.
And the weird thing is majority of Gambit's matches have started like that. I believe they've started most of, if not all of their maps down 0 to 5, 0 to 4, and they've had to claw their way back into the half.
Well, many might be worried about Gambit's shakiness. Redgar still enters the quarterfinals with a lot of confidence.
Hello guys, it's Redgar and I'm the team captain of Gambit Esports. If you think that we can win, you will see. We already came back, we can do it twice or 3rd times, so just watch us. We don't know who we're gonna face, so right now we're the Cheese Kings, you know. We have a lot of holes and you can beat us. We gave you a lot of information, so come and beat us. We are ready for that. Thank you everyone for that supporting. I swear you, we got this, we'll win this, so see you guys.
You gotta love Redgar. Every time I see him on screen, he just makes me smile. He's definitely the most wholesome pro player here.
Yeah,
but
they got a lot of holes, that's what he said.
Oh no. Oh no, Tom. But yeah, he's so wholesome. But you don't expect them to ever back down, right? They have so much confidence. They had the confidence, I think, all year because they know they've been able to do this. And Potter, even when it comes up against X10, you know, that confidence, it could be the thing that carries them over.
Yeah, and it should be, right? Because it's weird. Redgar is very wholesome, but in that server, he's not this nice, wholesome dude. He is absolutely deadly. And I think the impact frags that Redgar has been providing for this Gambit squad has kept them in it. Because as I said, they've had to claw their way back into these kinds of series, and it's been Redgar in those mid rounds making those weird pushes that after they lose space, he reaggresses, catches one, and equalizes things for his squad. So definitely, he's been a shining light for the Gambit squad.
Yeah, well, they're going up against another underdog team this time around. You know, they've dropped a couple of maps already against some of the teams they won expected to. And let's talk about X10, because you've mentioned this already, Tom. Not many people expected them to be here, not in a disrespectful way, just their group was really tough.
I love this team. Like, genuinely, the fact that we went from Cruz basically saying that they need to work on aim, like communication, like all of that meme, and then come out in a lot of interviews just like, I think Padipam went, yeah, we didn't expect to even beat Vivo Keyed, and now they're like in through to the playoffs, looking to face off against Gambit, and I genuinely don't know what to think anymore, because they have overperformed to such a level, especially coming into the tournament, and they were running like Yoru comps, they were running a 4-controller comp at one point, like these guys were nut jobs, and now somehow they're in the playoffs.
Nut jobs, yes. And you know what? I think that that sort of unpredictability is absolutely going to go into X10's favor, right? I'm a huge fan of this team right now so far. The way that they're approaching these rounds, aggressive, 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 and they're all dedicated to the cause, right? So I like that style. It's been fun to watch. Can it go up against this huge stylistic difference in Gambit, because Gambit is slow, right? They're going to always be ready for these funky pushes that X10 have been putting out to other teams. I think they're going to be absolutely ready. So it's going to come down to the maps. What maps are we going to see that's going to determine X10's game plan here?
It's going to be really entertaining, I feel like, no matter what, to see which one of these teams does decide to shake it up. In the past tournaments, we always talk about Patty. In this tournament, we're always talking about Patty, but it doesn't feel like it's just the Patty show anymore, because Sushi Boys, Tom has been stepping up.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to disagree, because I honestly think that Sushi Boys has probably been the pinnacle player in this entire tournament. I believe we're actually going to show a little head-to-head potentially between him and Chronicle, because that's one of the things that I've enjoyed so much this tournament. These are currently the 2 top-rated Killjoys in the entire tournament. One of them, I don't think, played it up until this event in the form of Chronicle, and has only played a couple of maps, although those maps he was off the charts in ACS. I think he was on like 300, so that's actually been brought down by other agents. And then Sushi Boys, he plays Jet sometimes, but frags better on a Killjoy. Like, it has been absurd how well he has played individually, and then matching that up with their sort of other initiator in Foxy, I think they've done so well to find information, get aggressive, get in their opponent's face, especially on the defensive side. And I think, sure, I do think it's a mismatch in terms of the way they play the game. Like, they're almost playing the way that Gambit want them to. But so many teams have expected it. Envy definitely expected them to do this, and it didn't matter. They still won.
Yeah, and oh man, Sushi Boys is just a really special player. I think it's very difficult to change a duelist into a sentinel role. Like that duelist mindset, man, they want to get in there. They want to fight. They don't want to back down, and they don't want to be selfless, right? Because when we think about a duelist, they're selfish, self-sufficient type of duelist agents. And for a Killjoy, Sushi Boys, he's got it all. It seems like he's selfish, selfless, and he gives everything up for his team.
Well, I've actually got some stats to back up your point, because you were saying, like, oh yeah, he still wants to play that aggressive role. He still wants to get those opening frags. Well, I think it was versus Envy. Him and Foxy were 22-7 in opening duels.
Jeez.
Now, in the majority of maps, he was still playing Killjoy, and on Split, both of them together went 10-0. That is absurd when you're not playing an agent that helps you in any manner to do that role. That's just of his individual brilliance alone.
Also, their opponent as well, if you take that into context. Yeah, I think the only thing that Sushi Boys has a fault in is that I heard that he doesn't actually like sushi. So I'm a little bit disappointed.
Excuse me?
I don't know if that is a rumor that someone just spread, but I did read that the other day, and I was thinking, like, really?
Next you're going to tell me Foxy doesn't like foxes, and my whole world is going to just melt down.
Yeah, your name is not actually Tom, So that's
I'm not a Harry Potter fan at
Wait,
all.
I thought I was Ryan. Am I not Ryan Central?
I thought you were Paper Sin's body double, but you know,
I'm having an identity crisis here.
I've never seen you and Link or Sassy in the same room together, yeah. So
That's true.
We
That is
never
true.
know at this point. But while the odds may be stacked against X10, their player Cruz is pretty excited and feeling good going into this quarterfinals matchup.
My name is Cruz Thanamet Mahatananayut. I'm from X10 Esports and I play the support role. We're excited and we're all glad that we made it. We did what we thought we could and it just feels good. To be honest, it's just like a stepping stone for us. As you can see, we don't have like the really double duelist kind of squad, but we're just working on our teamwork, how we trade, and we make it hard for them to kill us one by one. I just want to say that let's have a good game because the Gambit guys are really nice to us and I know there's no rivalry between us, but then I just want a good game and let's make it fun. I would like to thank all the fans, both from Southeast Asia and from NA. I hope it was a good game for you guys, although the outcome wasn't in the NA's region's favor. We're just here to play just like them, and I just hope you keep on supporting us as well so we can make the scene bigger. Thank you.
I don't want them to play against Gambit. I don't want either of them to have to lose. This is going to be the most wholesome matchup ever.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen like two teams more likable right now. But Potter, I want to address something that he said in there, which I thought was really, really poignant, that they make their team, their opponents' lives hard
Yes.
by making sure that they don't get to kill them one by one.
Yeah, and you're just kind of throwing curveballs and disrupting whatever the game plan is on the other side, right? And that's what I love about this X10 squad, is that they're fearless. They are fearless. I think one of their issues, though, is that it is a bit telegraphed, right? Because generally that sort of aggression, it comes as the barriers are going down. It's very much everything's going in, right? All that utility is going towards either mid, maybe an A main push, and it's very telegraphed. And the better S-tier teams, they react very well off that sort of immediate information. They just beeline it straight to the opposite side of the site. So I'm looking to see a little bit of a different flavor in that approach, but it still works.
Honestly, I don't trust either Stax or Cruz anything they say anymore. Because Stax, I feel like when we saw him on the first day where he was just basically playing mind games all the way through, and I feel like Cruz was the same, like, yeah, we need to work on all of this stuff. And then in reality, it's like, we got you. we practice this all the time. Now he comes interview saying we had all of this prepared all along. It's like, I wouldn't have seen that coming.
It reminds me of Angel. Like anyone that knows Angel.
I don't trust Angel at all.
You do
That
not
man is a
trust
liar.
anything Angel says. Like, he will play mind games, but the mind games works out sometimes, you know, depending on which team it is. But we are going to step away from here just for a few minutes, but there's going to be more Valorant chats and action right after this. Welcome back to Champions, everyone. I absolutely love seeing all your tweets during the break. They always make us laugh. It's great. And I want to see them coming. Keep them coming. So, which is why I want to remind you guys at home of our annual Tacti Hunt. Of course, these little guys, I think you guys are very familiar with them already. I know you guys love them. So whenever you see one of these on broadcast, take a selfie, take a picture with it, and tweet it at us using the hashtag VALORANT Champions Hunt and Tacti Hunt. And we'll definitely feature those tweets on the broadcast. I haven't seen you tweet one in yet, Tom. I'm not sure why that is. Have you just been missing them?
What's that about, Tom?
Well, surely, maybe I'm just not very good at the game, all right, Sue? Like, it's hard. Sometimes I like blink and then it's already come up. I see people tweeting it. Like, it's not as easy.
You're always behind. You're always behind.
Just 'cause I'm not good at games. I always get bullied.
Yeah, I mean, I did absolutely ruin you in the custom by just holding flank. That's how you beat Tom in Valorant, guys. He doesn't check corners.
I'm like the
Just
X10
man.
of Valorant. I'm super aggressive on defensive side, and sometimes sometimes you get punished.
You
know?
really sometimes.
All the time you get
does
punished.
not check any corners. You're the only person I know that plays the Sky, but you don't use any of your utilities to check corners.
Oh no!
To be fair, I think
just getting roasted.
I think you were holding the flank with like 10 seconds left on the spike. Just
I was. Yeah.
Just gonna hide here with an Odin.
With my
Don't worry,
Odin
guys.
and my turret.
Securing the round, man.
Yeah. Of course, of
I'm
course.
pretty sure that other members of my team could have defused, and Sue would have still been like, I'm gonna kill Tom.
That's all that matters.
Well, I want to get some final thoughts from you guys, regarding Gambit versus X10. How much of an underdog do we really feel like X10 is? Are the odds really stacked against them today?
I think so. Just on paper, yes. If you watched X10 this entire week and the rounds that they were able to rally together as a squad, then they're not so much an underdog anymore. But on paper, with the way that both teams are made up, the composition, yeah, I think Gambit is absolutely should be winning this one.
Yeah, I think it's stylistically in Gambit's favor just because of how aggressively X10 like to play. But I also think the other side of it is just, I don't know if they're going to be able to compete just man for man, pound for pound.
Well, thank you very much. Guys, let's kick off our final final matches here at Champions Berlin.
Do you remember your first time seeing the impossible? When the first masters emerged, they were challenged to evolve, challenged to create masterpieces that would inspire millions. A mix of personal style and pure skill that redefined the game. This is where the best players from around the world will clash, and champions will be born, dreaming of greatness. Now we will all bear witness to split-second sparks that changed the course of esports history. And inspire future generations to find their own flash of brilliance. This is where we live. This is the art of greatness.
It's over! It's done with! Crew against all odds! Send Sentinels home!
Yo creo que la TAM tenía que dar este paso que dimos nosotros contra NA.
Now history is theirs in the making.
Que el próximo equipo que se nos enfrente, que esté preparado porque nosotros ahora vamos con todas.
What a moment for Crew.
Gambit, scary.
The pressure is 10 times more than it was at Masters.
I know that every team would like to knock us out from this tournament, but there is no pressure about that. We're all confident in our power. We have to show that we are the best team.
Most fans think EU is going to win the tournament.
แต่ก็ทีนี้พวกเราก็ชนะแกมบิทมาในซ้อมได้ครับก็ทำให้พวกเรามั่นใจว่าแข่งรอบนี้เราจะสามารถสู้ได้ครับ
You'll see what we come up with next.
We're always training all the time. We're training for that. We're ready for that. We're prepared.
พวกคุณหัวเราะในวันที่พวกผมเอาหาก็อย่ามาเสียน้ำตาในวันที่พวกผมเอาจริงนะครับ
Durka's going to keep creeping behind them.
Oh, he's herding them forward, finds Stacks, gets the follow.
No way, Durka!
The adjustment is unbelievable.
I think we were in control most of the series, ensuring that we make it the least amount of mistakes as possible.
We are here as underdogs, but we know how we perform in scrims. I'm pretty confident that we are capable of winning World Champions.
The crew that Fnatic went up against is not the same crew that they're going to get this time.
Los equipos que subestiman a Cruz nos hacen más fuerte a nosotros porque llegan con una confianza extra, que eso no significa nada para nosotros. Entonces, si es que quieren llegar con confianza así, mejor para nosotros, nosotros nos aprovechamos de eso.
It's going to be easier for us to win if you keep on underestimating us, so help yourself.
ทุกอย่างเป็นไปตามที่เราคิดไว้ทำให้ทุกทีมไม่สนใจเราแล้วเราก็ค่อยคว้าแชมป์ครับ
Dentro de todo, yo diría bien, pero no al 100% aún.
Que todavía podemos dar más sorpresas, así que estén preparados.
I want to show the greatest Valorant I can.
You might get the timing on this just right.
Good luck.
Put us all together, we make Fnatic, and we're coming here to smash some noobs.
What a way to end that hype trailer. You know, you're smashing some noobs. Why not?
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the pressure we've spoken about. You know, Gambit winning the last international tournament. They've said this multiple times in interviews. That doesn't really matter. They're not really kind of defending champions in their eyes. They also see themselves as challengers, and they proved themselves to be the best already, Potter, but they have to prove that again here.
Yeah, and you know, maybe that is the mentality that you want to have, right? Because they always say it's not the journey of getting there, right? It's staying up there. It's staying at the top, being #1 when all eyes are on you, and just maintaining that consistent form. So maybe if Gambit change that sort of mindset and have that different perspective, that'll help them.
Oh, I'm excited. I've just seen the maps come up. It makes me happy every single time that we get to go into the map select. And especially with these two teams, I feel like, at least on the bans, Potter, I feel like that stage of this is going to be fairly obvious.
Yeah, it should be pretty straightforward, but I mean, maybe X10 throw in a weird curveball, but they have been consistently banning out that bind.
Yeah,
but especially the thing that I was going to say is, especially when it's not looked great for Gambit, I would have actually quite liked to see them float it, because I don't think Gambit are going to pick it first time around.
No, they wouldn't. But, you know, from the side of Gambit as well, they don't play Haven unless it's a best of 5.
And they have to play it.
Yeah, and in this tournament, they can ban it again in a best of 5 as well. So we might never see Redgar on the Reyna ever again, which is a bit of a sad thought. But it'd be interesting to see, okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't see that one coming, because especially I don't think X10 have ever played this map. So that is definitely a bit of a curveball. It's something that we have seen a little bit from Gambit, but in tournaments, I don't think we're really going to want to talk about too much. So realistically, this is going to be a brand new playing field for both teams.
Yeah, brand new. And again, this is one of those weird curveballs that a team like X10 can absolutely be in the position to throw, right? I mean, again, a little bit less pressure on these guys. And you know what? I like it. They're testing the waters and they're saying, this is a brand new map. Nobody has the meta down on this map yet. Let's do it a 50-50.
I think coming through for the pick, I would expect, well, I was going to say I'd expect the Breeze, but I guess even though we haven't seen Ascent in this tournament from Gambit, it's one that historically has been an incredibly good map for them, and they've already been able to see what X10 do on this map. So the fact that this comes up as a second choice isn't overly surprising. But I do feel like X10 showed some good things on that map.
They did. It was versus Envy just recently, a couple days ago. And yeah, the second half was a bit of a blowout, and that sometimes happens after you lose the pistol and the bonus. But that first half, guys, that first half was so close. A couple of different kills, and all of a sudden, that map is entirely different.
Yeah, moving forward, I thought also the pick was going to be Icebox coming out from X10 as well. So the fact that they've actually gone in for a fraction now means that this leaves the likelihood of the ban coming through on the other side. So I am starting to worry a little bit looking at this map pool that it's going to end up incredibly good for the side of Gambit, because I was expecting them to pick Breeze. Now they're going to get it as a third map and then have Ascent as their second. I don't know if I see X10 taking this.
Yeah, you know, that's such a good point. Hopefully X10's Fracture is like god tier, better than Fnatic's, because as you say, Icebox and Bind, these two maps absolutely had a lot of holes in Gambit's plan. So, I mean, for X10, again, I like the curveball. They don't have a blueprint. What are they going to bust out on this Fracture that's just going to be so much better than Gambit's?
But that's the other thing. I feel like there's no way that Gambit, especially the composition they were running previously, it was a little bit weird, had a Brimstone in it. So I don't even know how much you've then learned off Gambit to actually try and counter them and come up with a few ideas. So it's a very big risk for X10. What I will say, we've gone into every single matchup not expecting them to be able to win it. So why would we doubt them now?
I mean, same with the other teams, right? We've doubted, a lot of people doubted Crew. A lot of people doubted Secret as well, but we're going to take a quick break here, but stick with us because Agent Select is on the way.
time slows down when it can get no worse. Wishing there was something left to lose. This could be the day I die for you.
Welcome back, everyone. The map vetoes are in and the players will be taking the stage shortly, but I do want to quickly address a little bit about that fracture because more often than not in these underdog matchups, we talk about how they need to come out strong and they need to take their map pick. So fracture, Potter, if X10 aren't able to take it, will you be concerned about the rest of their series?
Absolutely, absolutely concerned. I'm most curious what these compositions are going to look like, right? I think fracture, there's just so many interesting topics and discussions you can bring up about the map. Can Killjoy still be relevant? That ultimate certainly doesn't look like it can be a lot of the times with the breach counter. So there's so many different looks and different approaches that these teams are bringing to the table. You mentioned Brimmy, Tom. I'm actually low-key hoping that they bust out Brimmy again.
Yeah.
He just brings such a different flavor. Right now we're seeing such drawn out execs because those smokes, the wall from the Viper, it takes forever, right? Brim, bust out the iPad, it's down instantly, right? So it's just a different flavor. I hope we can see Brimstone. I'd like to see how they approach it with someone like that.
His orbital strike would be pretty scary as well, considering how compact some of the sites are. Like, it's possible that maybe this is a Brimmy map and we just don't know what's going to happen. But realistically, I think Breach is highly likely. We've seen so many teams playing it so far. I've also enjoyed watching some Viper. I think the Pit, especially because you've got so many avenues of attack, to be able to just lock one out completely can definitely help you quite a lot. So I'm excited to see what we're going to get from the compositions. But realistically, they could throw anything in and I'd probably go, ooh, cool, let's see what that can do. Except Yoru, maybe new Yoru.
I'm down for Yoru. I'm down for Yoru. Well, thank you very much, guys. A semi-final spot is up for grabs here. Let's welcome X10 and Gambit to the stage. While both teams are fighting for a semi-final spot here, will the fairy tale continue for X10, or will the big bad walls of Gambit come and give them a rude awakening? I don't think I have never described Gambit as big and bad, but they kind of are, Tom, in this matchup.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like at times Nats is a stone cold killer, like man with no emotions coming to ruin the day. But no, honestly, I feel like this matchup is one where it's very difficult not to like both of these teams unless you are a fan of the teams they're eliminating along the way. Because that's all it's really been. Like, most of the fans of other rosters would have expected X10 to be long gone and their team to be in the playoffs. And for Gambit, they're the team everyone has to beat. So you almost have to try and make them a bad guy at this point because they are the champions of the last Masters.
Yeah, and as we mentioned for Gambit, these guys just have to come out swinging, have that consistent form, and have a good start for themselves. Because look, you give these X10 guys an inch, they're absolutely going to take a mile, especially Sushi Boys and Patafan. They've been fantastic in that server so far. I'm a little bit surprised to see Patafan's entrance be a little bit less energetic than what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, he did say that he wanted his hair to be the energetic element. He didn't want to give it too much.
Not jealous at all.
You could dye your head. There's no rules against painting your head.
I'm gonna tat it. I'll just make it pink.
I mean,
pink.
If Liquid wins the tournament, you can do that, right?
Thank you.
Isn't that what you said you were gonna do?
Thank you.
Actually, I do want to talk about N real quick on your screen here, because I feel like he is so underrated when it comes to the top coaches. He doesn't really get spoken about enough, but in this game, if they want to kind of shut down any of those aggressions from X10, Tom, N would have done a copious amount of homework here.
That's the thing, though. This is the sort of map that I feel like he'll have done homework in general, but you can't have done homework on this team. You couldn't do homework going into this event on this team at all, let alone on Fracture. They've literally never played it.
And he'll find a way.
The other way around. He's just been watching them. He's flown all the way out there, and he's just watching them through them. Guys, they're playing Fracture. I've got a good vision on this one. Like, yeah, maybe. If he is that good a coach, then yeah, they should keep him until the end of time. Thankfully, we can transition nicely into Agent Select.
We are going to the prime game, Agent Select. Keep your eyes peeled for Brimmy on Chronicle, and also just the entire team of X10, because Foxy has locked in a KO on Fracture Potter.
I love KO on Fracture.
What?
I love the pop flash. This.
We got Brim.
We got Brimmy, we got KO, we got Breach. We've even got a Sage. Sage is pretty unorthodox so far on Fracture as well.
Yeah, these are definitely some very interesting comps. Even just talking about KO in general, like Foxy is not normally the one on this team that plays it. They've had to do it because Cruz is now on Breach, so it's clearly something that they've tried and tested even on other players. And yeah, I like the fact that we're getting a raise from Defo, because that was one of the things when watching Fnatic especially, where you saw how deadly that agent can be. I will say it was in combination with Astra though, so I want to see how they're going to combo it with a Brimmy.
That's going to be so interesting. I'm glad we brought up the Brimmy and they've actually busted it out. I mean, when we watched Fnatic do their little B split with that tower heaven, that was all kind of timing with each other and spacing. With the Brimmy in play, you don't really have to focus so much on that. His orbital strike is going to take care of half of that site, and the rest of the Gambit members can keep their crosshairs on the others, right? So this is very interesting. I'm excited to see how they're actually able to put it into play and execute.
I love this raise change. I think this raise change is going to make a big difference. But before we hop into the game, I want to hear some predictions from you guys. Anyone is willing to go against Gambit here? Anyone?
No.
Nats.
Okay, can we just watch Panda Cam? I don't want to watch anything
I believe her name is
so nervous.
I believe her name is Adela. I did ask Nats about this. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's Adela on screen. But yes, Gambit all the way, or are we going to have something different here?
I think it has to be this map for X10. I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, the series.
Yeah, I know. That's but like this map, they have to win even to have a chance.
Okay.
But I don't think they're going to win.
So you think Gambit 2-0?
2-0.
Ooh.
I'm going to say Gambit 2-0 as well, but look, we said that this map pool doesn't favor X10, but at the same token, Breeze and Fracture, they're kind of an unknown quantity. They are large maps. An aggressive team like X10 can absolutely step on Gambit here if they allow them. So there's a weird curveball opportunity here. I'm going to stick with Gambit though, 2-0.
Oh, okay, I'm going to say 2-1, but I'm not going to tell you guys who, because we don't have enough time.
X10, obviously.
Let's throw this over to Pansy and Hypo to get us into Fracture.
With absolute honor, and hey, we've seen so many upsets already this tournament. I think it's a safe shout to go for Gambit. I think that's a very reasonable choice. But even stylistically, this matchup, I think Potter kind of lent in towards it. There is a world in which it can happen. And if it starts to, I'm all aboard it. But what do you make of this comp coming out? We've got, Fracture coming in. There's a lot to be discussed.
I mean, I love seeing Viper on Fracture, so it's interesting we see neither on either side, but it's the Brim that's the sticking point for me. Again, it's how much that's going to enable some of the site control, especially on the attack. But just one word from Potter, curveball. And I feel like that's what X10 are going to lean heavily on. We're looking for this defensive aggression again with a double flash, including the KO. I'm expecting something a little bit fruity out of X10.
And if I hadn't seen their victory over Envy, maybe you could have had to have worked harder to convince me of the chances, but I've seen it with my own eyes, and I think it made a believer of a lot of us. So we dive into this. Let's not waste any time, as we do have Gambit starting things out on the attacking side, and actually it's Nats to draw first blood as well.
Spike down, B.
A little bit of a push through actually here. Patty and Cruz trying to double down on this aggression. Defo let's hold him back. Nats actually want to pick it up, and Chronicle with a pinch from the other side here. Sushi Boys try and find something on the backside, but him and Scary left to try and recover this pistol round.
Oh, and a clean start is perfect. That's what the doctor ordered. A little lineup here could be nice. Let's have a look to see if that does find where they need.
Spike play.
For now, the smokes go in. So once again, more being presented in front of X10 to try and make this even trickier. The 3 in the post plant comfortable. Heal gets invested as well. So now the 2 are trying to find the optimal timing. Maybe wait for that smoke to fade, and here's that pixel shown. Lovely shot from Defo. It looks like the follow-up probably going to work out quite well. The crossfires have not been dismantled, have not been dismembered. And it will be scary to have to face the music.
Get everything, even get it done. Nope, Shado's going to deal with it. And comfortable again. No real surprises of again a couple of early kills coming through, but Gambit find themselves an opportunity to get through. Again, I'm looking for lots of variation here on the side of X10, and particularly in the use of KO. Obviously, there we did see a little push out from B main, but pressure on both sides of the map as well. You can see there, Fox actually on this replay. Try and get something done elsewhere. And again, I think the important thing that a map here, if we talk about curveballs, this is kind of uncharted territory, right? For Gambit to an extent. I don't want to talk about the Red Bull performances. I know we already talked about that, but on the side of X10 also, excited to see what they can do to kind of lean on, I guess, the previous momentum, right? They're brimming right now.
And I'm actually quite glad that we've just kind of checked in, even observer-wise, on Nats and Chronicle. Considering the games that they struggled in against Vikings, where they dropped a couple of bits and pieces, oh, that's not good. Actually, Chronicle's been found. They had some really rough games in a 3-play stack trying to fight down against Shados, but he has support. Redgar's got his back. You can hear the Bulldog just growling behind, as now there's still 4 standing against the 2. Now, Patty does still have a little bit of damage in this, but they're already considering. You can see Defo just slipped across. Should be okay. Good trade for Patty. Any more would be great. That's when I start really paying attention, because you've chipped away a little bit more than they'd have wanted. 55 HP. And there's a very real possibility of him being able to at least get one more kill here.
Again here also, not sure if Nats even caught a glimpse there of Patty. Shados and Redgar will pause for a moment up in tower. And that ping came through, but not in the right spot here. Not sure if they're just waiting on this heal to make absolutely sure. Again, on damage control almost. Leaving Patty guessing. Just staring down. That's doing what he does best. Redgar will spot him out. Third on round. Some key early ultimate progress there, but 2 shields will need purchasing again. So in terms of damage, again, extra kill would have been nice, but forcing a bit more of a purchase out from Gambit here in the bonus. And again, this is the round you look towards X10. I'm looking here, it's leaning one way pretty quickly, but whether or not they continue with this early round pace. A little bit of an adjustment, actually. Got Sushi Boy over towards A. You can see lots of utility invested on both sides here. And look at this 4-man push, Lauren.
And look at those damn good-looking skins as well. All rifled up, all ready to go. Look at the damage coming back on through, though. They need to keep this clean. If you're an X10 fan, you're looking for that to be the case. And so far, comfy. I like the aggression. Now, the reply back will probably facilitate at least at bare minimum a plant, I feel here. Actually, no, the Spike's going to struggle to cross. And it's going to be denied. Chronicle still standing. Ooh. What is that? Chronicle. Easy now. Oh, he's read it well. He's read it so well. Chronicle was already looking towards tower. And Foxy has no idea. Oh, Chronicle might just do the unthinkable. And has he?
He's expecting it as well.
He's predicted this so well. The man is in just complete, full-on brain power mode. He's reading everything. But now the timing's a factor, but he's got a lot to play with here. Hasn't recovered a gun yet. There's plenty down, but maybe feeling that taking this space was more essential. He's cleared, and now this is when that internal clock's going to tick and going, okay, maybe on the flank, maybe I need to look back towards tower, back towards this way. And he gets the rifle as well.
This is the thing now. Cantina Generator pretty much... Sushi Boy's got good timing on this, though.
Rifle out, there it is! Sushi Boy. Just about taming what could have been a nightmare scenario for X10.
And this is the problem, honestly, a round like that, it starts fantastically for X10, but it's so difficult for that to be your win condition in some of these rounds, to continue this level of aggression and this kind of eagerness to find this first blood. Again, kind of stop things before Gambit can get set up accordingly. Again, X10 win that round, but it cost them an awful lot. Patty already on the Blade Storm, though, and that's huge in this round.
should help even things out. And again, we saw this before, almost worked out last time we saw that little jump up and over. Didn't quite find the frag that they were desiring, but for now, look towards Gambit, making the moves up. Turret gonna at least notify those around that corner. There is a few here, but you're right. There's already 3 on the lean, and Patty just gives it the drive-by. Great work from him for the good start, and the trade-up is brilliant. I thought Defo was going to have that. I thought that was on the plate, but no. So already a 5-play up against 3.
I've got to be careful here. Again, no teammates towards Dish or his close proximity at least. Nat's still trying to find something towards Tower. He might actually get decent timing, but Cruz actually will find that one. Chronicle now to potentially pinch through here. Sushi Boys finds it, and a fantastic round by X10 with the investment here. Patty try and find it. And again, this is the problem here. These sorts of rounds, I think if it goes to a brawl, a bit of a scrap on these site entrances, that's when X10 can cause some real problems for Gambit.
And I'm going to say it now, I can hear them behind me. Already, that round, they are pumped up. That is a really good look from them coming into this, a flawless Prime Gaming round here. And what a way to assert dominance. Right back in after a very sketchy round, almost losing out to a Sheriff. That's one way to get your mental right back where it needs to be. That is really, really critical to these guys. Give them that confidence, keep them building, especially for an underdog. You look at it on paper, it's a lot of that affirmation, knowing that, hey, yes, we can go toe-to-toe. We've already taken down another heavy top-tier team. We can keep doing this time and time again. It is just 2-2, but they have humbled the money from Gambit. You're seeing a bit of a Chico with a touch more in that Spectre on Chronicle, but otherwise, that's about it.
See what the plan is here. Not greeted with anybody on the side of X10 towards Hall or Door. They'll drift back over. Nats, again, no real information towards the setup on B at least, but as we can see on the minimap, it's 3 players stacked. Actually, 2 walking underpass here. X10 a double walk in this.
They're getting a little weird with it, but the problem is these these Sheriffs are still so dangerous. Maybe this isn't the round to be doing it. That's a rifle to be had, and it does look like it's going to fall into the hands of Nats for now. Tries to tap away to get Foxy, but he's not going to be able to find the connection just yet. But as this death stack, that's a big tick in the box. They're going to walk away with the rifle, but do they predict the players already watching this fullback? Cruz is right there. You can see he's ready for this one, and now Cruz is going to try and set this up. He wants to get it done. Lovely Beautiful control. He is so poised for that. Didn't overextend, falls away, 30 HP. Anything more is ideal, but Patty's got his back. The swing from Tower puts him down to 2, and all the threats that Gambit were looking to try and find have been somewhat quelled, but not completely. Redgar still has that rifle, and Shadow still on that Spectre. There's still potential for this.
Cruz is going to find another one. Shadow's actually finds a headshot. Patty.
Time.
Nice little swing out there, and a crucial round, I got to say. That
huge.
That swing back from that aggression through underpass to set up accordingly on site and pick up a couple of key angles made it so difficult. That fault line completely shuts this down here from Cruz.
And I love the control on that. Not just the wild spray, keeps composure. Again, this is really nice to look at. It just shows that they are really in the right mentality. They're not playing like they're underdogs at all. It's not just cheese. It's not just these looking for kind of squirrely ways to do it. It looks just like really good Valorant.
Like I said, the bigger positive is seeing X10 adjust. After, if they do lose somebody in this early aggression, it's that kind of mid-round adaptation where they can then set up, greet and execute from Gambit. Hold that thought again. We're getting an aggressive outside B main here.
Start. Oh, and
straight
Patty.
away.
The backhand is swift, and Defo is going to be reeling from that. Redgar took a little bit of flak damage too. The rest comes out, but Cruz is right there. Shados is the one to tilt it back at least. Oh, I thought that was on the money.
Defo's lucky.
Very lucky boy. And Nats, does he have any bit of that luck up his sleeve? Because he's about to have a lot of players coming his way. He only gets a 1-for-1, so let's look at what we have here. It's still going on. What a bloody battle between these two. It's unrelenting aggression. Scary needs to be on point, though. Keep his composure as best he can. As Chronicle now is going to try and join Defo. 29 HP and a dream for Scary. Ults across the board.
This is a really dirty angle to hold
as
well.
It's filthy. It's absolutely filthy, and I love what he's up to. The wall goes down, and now the 1v2. He's going to try and find one. He gets it, but the second evades, and Chronicle brings life back to Gambit here.
Again, the choice to go for the gravity well there, I think he's potential, actually, if obviously Chronicle stacks up there and they try and double swing. There's a world where he gets both of those.
I'm just not used to seeing Gambit in this kind of brawly style where they're having to meet them in this sort of aggressive manner. And I love the fact that X10 are pushing Gambit to this, making them play outside of their usual stylistic approach.
And actually, the second part to that is actually how willing X10 are to kind of double down. Like they find an opener, and then there's 2 or 3 other points on the map where they're still pushing on defense. By the way.
Yeah, just to clarify. And that's big info found. Nice little start there for Foxy. Going to be happy with that. Going to fall away. It's not going to be the entire picture, of course. We know Fracture by now. We've seen it a fair bit in this tournament, honestly. It has been doing the rounds. And Chronicle looking to be precise as he works his way forward. But it's the main pack over here that's trying to draw a great deal of attention, see if he can maybe capitalize on that timing if they do turn away. But it looks like they're going to fall away from this.
A couple of tools at Gambit's disposal as well. Showstopper, the orbital strike. See on the flip side. A couple of ultimates for X10 to throw in this round if they choose to. Drifting back towards bench here. And again, actually the weaker side of the setup from X10 just by a head count. Again, playing a little deeper now, and this is, again, switching up a little bit. They're just going to kind of play contact on site. These Sushi Boys tucked up into tower. Again, almost kind of giving them entry at least here.
30 seconds left.
Oh, now that
forced out by the lockdown.
It's one of the brilliant things, I guess, of having Brimmy Boy. But a lot of utility invested into this now. They have to make the most of this one. You can already see that X10 are on the back foot slightly, but the hits still not come through. We're down to 14 seconds. They need to make this land. 10 seconds now. Redgar on the drive-by does well, but Scary lives up to that name, causing problems. 6 seconds now. It's only Patty alive, and I don't think he can really deny this. The spike goes down with 1 second to spare, and Gambit, that serene style, that diligent approach. Patty's considering it for merely a second. I wonder how long he lingers.
I think with the operator here, it's, again, there's no chance of him swapping out a weapon. Very difficult for him to find anything on the way back in. You can see him backing away now, but it's interesting there. Again, yes, it runs so late. We're used to seeing Gambit play that sort of round, but it's now where X10 show nothing. There's nobody kind of aggressively peeking in these angles towards arcade, you know, and nobody towards underpass, and that's where you give Gambit the time to set up. The orbital strike is all that's needed on the way in there.
Yep.
Comes down to a couple of other gunfights, but I'm almost kind of thinking, you know, X10 towards the back end of that round. There's no kind of fact finders out towards Dish, nothing towards main, nothing to kind of confirm this lack of presence anywhere on the side of Gambit. And you let Gambit shift walk around the map for 90 seconds and it becomes a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it plays too nicely to Gambit's style. It gives them way too much. So I would like a little bit more of those fact finders, as you said. It's hard to say though, because we know that also Gambit are great at holding those defaults, which normally does catch that. It is the kind of Sophie's choice of things. You can't. There's no easy way to do it, and that's a reason they're such a high-tier team. However, we dive back in. We have to now look at the purchase on either side. Pretty solid. Still enough for X10 to get a really nice buy behind it. Patty maintaining that operator, so he gets to bring it into this round. And already a clear lean towards this B site at the very beginning. Last time around we did see that, but you wanted aggression towards Dish. We're already getting that too. I think Foxy has just gone walkabout, so they're already going to lean over that additional player. They've seen plenty of utility, and Sushi Boys is trying to keep this together. There's the swing though. 2 players tucked by the box. This could be problems. He actually gets away unscathed, and the lean's coming in, and as is that flank.
Just going to send one down. It does find Scary. Trying to hide inside the smoke here. Lockdown invested as well. Will be dealt with straight away, so no threat to Gambit here. They're able to set up on site.
Planted.
But actually a nice swing out from Sushi Boys there, but Defo can find 2.
Yeah, Foxy's got to be careful. He was a little unaware, all that utility and no intention behind it at the end. That tower swing was great from Nats. And once again, Patty's put in this position. He was a little not hesitant to hit these rotations, but now they want to get that operator away. Good luck. Patty wants this. It's his baby. He's not going to give it up. But already you're seeing Gambit now starting to exude a little bit of that dominance, but he's still putting on a show. And the time. I mean, he switched up to the rifle. He's going for this one. And have a look where Nats is. Oh my. Hi, Pock, are you kidding me right now? Patty, you could do this already. The flashy doesn't actually eat it that much. Oh my god, Patty can sit this. He can absolutely sit this. There's no time left. And I don't blame him, because Nats, if anything, was the one who wasn't there in time. But Patty could have done some more damage with that, and that has to be a wake-up call to Gambit. It ain't over till it's over, because that man almost just clutched out against them.
He really did, and that's the thing. some of these players on X10, they're not afraid to kind of do the unexpected, right? Do the almost illogical in some senses.
As soon as he drops that op, I'm all aboard.
I mean, the only thing that changed there, if he sticks for the first half, that's around 2x10. So Gambit got to keep that in check for sure. You see him just second-guessing himself a couple of times there. And
I can't blame him, though.
No, you really can't. Again, you expect there, the flash comes through main, there's going to be a swing from tower.
Yeah, it'd be tower, wherever else.
But Nats was straight away from that. I think, actually, as the first op kill came in, he was straight to this, then Defo kind of overpeaks a little bit on top of that wall.
Fine lines here. But hey, this is the level that you kind of have to start looking at with these players. The fact is that this happens in games that have been around for like 10 years where every player's meant to know better. And again, it might be a little bit of a reminder and a little kick up the butt for Gambit. They're saying, all right, let's stay on track here. Let's make sure we do not drop any of this. Cross the T's, dot the I's, stay composed. Because I think everyone coming into this who's watched Gambit leading up to this point has looked at that group stage and probably not had as much faith in them.
I wasn't sold.
I think most of us were somewhat similar.
You look at some of the map losses back at Masters 3 and you think, actually, yeah, fair enough. But some of the losses here in terms of just dropping maps have looked shaky.
Yeah. So again, you kind of want Gambit to make sure they are really doing their due diligence because you need to see that from them. And for X10, if they keep finding these little ways, these little moments to try and exploit it, to get around it, it could be something there. For now, though, we sit at 5-3. And Gambit's adjustment has been great, and they have finally got the money down.
Actually, again on the base from you here, popped off the rip. A little quicker, actually, an approach from Gambit here towards A main. Foxy and Sushi Boy, Nats is in trouble here.
Yeah, Nats is in a world of trouble. He's got players left, right, and center. Sees the shoulder, going to get one, but it's a trade out. And that's going to be a rifle now, pretty much up for grabs. And you know these boys will fight till the death. Shade or Slow catches the first glimpse. It wasn't as clean as he would have wanted. Going to have to fall away and respect that, but Defo still being pretty much the safe pair of hands. Really putting his foot down in this one as we are down to Patty and Sushi Boys to try and make something of this, but going to drop out the weapon. Not as clean and as simple as Patty would have liked. A nice try, but Gambit maintain 4. Keep everything tickety-boo.
In the next round, again, you look towards the ultimates here for Gambit. I think we're one away from the showstopper again. I'm not sure if it's the Roll of Thunder or the Orbital Strike, actually, on the horizon. So yeah, 3 off the showstopper. So again, this is still around again on the buy round here. There's not an awful lot behind this, and this is where it becomes difficult for X10 to maintain this level, I guess, of proactivity on the defense. But I'm looking towards Foxy here again,
yeah.
In terms of that, the cooldown and utility, making absolute use of it, because the only 2 fact finders they have really is Foxy and Sushi Boys, right? Everything else relies on pushing, you know, finding out what the setup looks like.
And it looks real quiet. So instantly you have to be looking to the other side of the map. Both extremities, at least on the top side of the map, have now been pushed out on. You've got to be able to try and extrapolate the information from that, because Gambit now, I think, have kind of put it together themselves as they've sliced through the... What is this round going on? Defo going to lead the charge. Cruz actually could catch across. No way! Defo, so sharp on it. And he still does well. Foxy trying to do some damage, but it's all effective trades for Gambit, leaving Sushi Boys the last one alive. And a 1v3, Spike going to go down. And he ain't that close by.
Gambit just walked through sand, up ropes, walled off spawn, and hit B.
Yes, they did.
And X10 are like, oh, well, we all push bridge, so, okay. Really, really weird round to watch on the minimap there. But a quick response, I think, on the back of Nats finding a little bit of contact in underpass. Sushi Boys again, we don't can find any damage here, but at this point with the round deficit doesn't make an awful lot of difference, because it will be saving and Gambit should be sitting pretty comfortable. Chronicle will find it. Again, now we're starting to see Gambit get a little bit better in terms of, I guess, their understanding of X10 and where they're pushing. If they feel no contact somewhere, then they're probably going to have a window of opportunity to slip through in this all around here. I mean, you can see straight away the response here after that first blood from Nats.
Not bad at all. Gambit now stringing together 5 rounds on the trot. And a nice little mid-call maybe off the back of that, as you said, Nats contact there. I like that. Just some nice, quick kind of fluid calling coming out from Gambit. Looks to sit with them well. And the proactive X10 still trying to make something happen from this, but I feel like Gambit really have a good notion of what's going on. Let's see how this kind of fares this time. A little bit of a switcheroo. At least they're going to be able to fall back here, not overcommit to that flank. And the other side of the pack for X10 should be able to clear, but you're right. Look at keep your eyes on it.
Site.
Yep.
Again, now that Tripwire being dealt with, Gambit are anticipating this push through underpass again, but I mean, there's a glaring hole in the defense here for X10. Gambit, unfortunately, on the back of being noted towards A Hall, have drifted back this way. So Cruz himself in a pretty tricky spot here. He's got to go huge if he wants to stop this advance.
It's a lot of pressure on one man's shoulders, and he doesn't even know it's happening yet. He's got his back to the enemy, not a place to be. The footsteps are surely going to be heard. Patty might be able to get there in time. He is going to at least get one, but a quick trade out as Cruz does get to keep his life, try and sail on forward. But Nats is so happy to greet it with the adjustment on the third. Finding so much work for himself. Oh, the timing is nasty. 1 HP. You're lucky to be alive.
Comes down to a 2v2 though. Sushi Boys will fall, and just 1 HP in the dream for Foxy. An awful left. Yeah, okay. Well, he needed to find that one. He didn't. It's 8-3. And again, coming into the last round here.
Last round.
It's going to be pretty tricky for X10. Didn't actually keep note of any ultimates here. I think there was a couple, 1 or 2 away, but it's just, and again, you can see here the way Cruz has to play around Arcade. He's got to worry about tower. He's got to look back towards site. There's all of these points where X10 have no information on. And like I said, you allow Gambit to shift walk around the map for that long, they can be anywhere, and they will be.
Yeah. They've found what works. They found that sore spot, and they're just pressing on it time and time again. Defo up to a quick beginning. Oh, it's brutality from Defo. Straight away in there, just rips the head off of Sushi Boys. Foxy's with a great flash. Oh my, Defo still takes him down. Feels like Gambit can't put a foot wrong. There's Patty, Cruz, and Scary still trying to find any success for themselves, and Nats waiting, poised, calm, collected, and unnoted. He knows what he's doing. He still gets one, and step by step, they just get worked away at.
I love that little attempt with the bait on that Sage wall coming up, but Spike is planted. Rolling Thunder available for Cruz. That's just him and Patty here on the way back in. Only one member on site again. Gambit adjusting on the back of that ultimate.
And there's the commit.
I think there's so much. There's a huge gap to close.
It really is, and it's going to be quite vast. Patty going to at least step towards it. Shados is there. Defo is there. Gambit looking to maybe reclaim a little bit of that inhuman capability that they have. Looking like they don't bleed blood. Looking so refined in how they like to approach the game.
I mean, I've got to say, this is probably the most composed in terms of an attacking half we've probably seen out of Gambit here at Champions. Again, the biggest test would have been the test of that default, especially on a map like Fracture, where there are so many pressure points, so many opportunities for these flanks. So you look towards Nats to be the one to kind of keep that in check, and Gambit adjust accordingly and find a really good grasp there.
They do, and I'm quite impressed by Gambit coming out and looking like this, because I think throughout the group stage we were a little bit hesitant on how they'd been running through this one. So again, for me, I think this is a good kind of confirmation of how they look. However, I want to see what the desk has to say about that first half.
Yeah, Gambit showing so much discipline, but you and I were talking about it during the game. It felt like the pushes and the defensive aggressions from X10 just sometimes fell down to luck.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like considering you have a KO in your team, it seemed like most of the time they had no idea where their opponents actually were. Like I wanted to see that knife come out a little bit more for information usage, and it seemed like a lot of X10 defensive side was purely based, as you said, on risk. Like, let's just push somewhere, hope they're there. If they're not, then they didn't seem to have a plan then onwards of how they would then retake ground or even retake spots. It's just weird.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been the X10 game plan this entire time on defenses. As the barriers go down, they either do a 4-1 push or throw utility and figure out what's going down. Gambit had a pretty simple response, but a response nonetheless. It was the 4-1s, right? Just leave Nats in the back line and have the trips up. And look, he's always good for one. He didn't have those breakout highlight acing every round type of games that we sometimes see out of the man himself, but he was always good for one. And that's the most important aspect of this, because eventually the defenses, they just start getting bogged down, right? Anytime they're trying to push, one of them gets taken out. A 1-for-1 trade is never in the advantages of the defenses.
I mean, it just just feels like, you know, we hear about Crew saying that they want to disrupt their opponent's game plan, but Potter, so far, Gambit are the ones that are just able to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, you even saw it in the round where it just coming down to the wire. Gambit once again using the clock as their best friend, right? I didn't think they would make it into that B site, but eventually it came through, right? The orbital strike towards that tower area, the breach ult to follow through right where the player would be kind of funneled into because of the orbital strike. So a lot of layers and good looks here for Gambit.
Yeah, I think as well, the thing that's a little bit of a shame is the rounds where X10 did get the read right in the early rounds, they were really close. Like, there were a few players left alive. There were opportunities there. I'm hoping that when it comes to their attacking side, we're going to see a little bit more of that KO.
Well, let's jump right back in with Pansy and Hypok.
Let's do it. 9-3 is the scoreline if you're just tuning in, and there's a reason they're Cinderella stories, they're fairy tales. When you start believing in these regions, you hope that maybe that success can continue out of the group stage with these deeper runs. But the Iron Giants of Gambit might have just awoken, but a good start for Sushi Boys could get them right back on track. Shados just a little too quick on the trigger, and it's a 1-for-1 trade out.
Big gap towards B right now, though, and you see straight away X10 going to capitalize on that. Redguard has to respect it for the time being. A little bit of pressure actually on the backside of B main here from Defo potentially, but see the firing squad lined up. Shados and Nats looking to stop any further pushes.
Spike planted.
See here, Defo. Does he get hard cleared here?
I think the answer is quite resounding. It's a no. Defo gets away with it. Catches Cruz and now going to work them down to 3, trying to keep their backs to the wall, keep themselves safe. Oh, Defo, I thought he had another. This man has been just a safe pair of hands, and he's been succeeding in a lot of the fights. The wall going to try and facilitate the cross. That was a little dicey, but it's fine, as Gambit are looking in fine form and a little too thick to quit. Foxy is in trouble.
Try and find this here. Nope, Shados going to close it out. The defuse comes through. Gambit find their 10th. And again, it's interesting to see Gambit's willingness to kind of address A-Hall so quickly there. You see Redguard leans away from it. Defo's able to roam for 15, 20 seconds or so. And again, anticipating that B hit coming through. The setup, it's almost like X10 unable to kind of capitalize on that aggression because there's nobody on site. Gambit just play deep enough to mitigate all that risk.
Little force buy coming in. How do you feel about force buys?
I mean, this scenario, yeah.
Again,
it's SMGs.
Yep.
Mostly you're going to be up against. There's a Bulldog in the hands of Redguard, but...
Little armor difference. Defo just fed himself to the wolves. Flies on in, a quick meal. Redguard, though, going to have to try and back away. He's caught in no man's land, and yeah, this buy's actually caught them off a fair amount, caught in unpredictable positions and spots they didn't want, and the pace, they have to keep this up. You're right, the flank will come into effect eventually, but let's see if they get that spike down uncontested. For now, it does seem as though that's going to be the case, and Foxy's on the case. Shados, Chronicle, Nat, all going to start cresting that corner, outdone by 1, and now the 3v3.
Crew's going to have an opportunity to play inside the smoke and have a really good engagement here if anybody does take the rope, but looks like Gambit going to force their way through on ground level. The wall, actually, Investor is going to cut off generator here. Batty has to deal with that quickly, this flank.
If he can get the timing right, if Sushi Boys can keep the attention. Oh, he just slipped through. Shados still alive, but only for so long. The force buy desperately trying to work out for them as it does convert with 3 standing. X10 give themselves a window of opportunity.
Like you said, Defo, a lamb to the slaughter there again. Not necessarily a misread, I think just banking on the fact that there is no buy coming through. The fault line was fantastic, but with this many SMGs in close quarters staring him down, no real opportunity for him to capitalize on that. And now, see what they can do with this. They can build a little bit of a buffer here. Again, not many rounds to play with Gambit on double digits, but see how far they can take this.
It has to be step by step. It has to be every single round on this turnaround if they want it. Foxy is going to be the first to get truly tested, and that's not what you want. It has to commit. He still gets away with 1, which is actually quite impressive. On the other side, the purchase for Gambit is a little here, there, and everywhere. Got about all the things from underneath the kitchen sink. You've got a Sheriff coming out, a Spectre, a Classic, odds and ends. Now the Spike Farm comes in, just adjusting for the utility to try and supplement and support. Patty going to watch that drop down in case anyone gets a little ahead of themselves, but it's not the case.
And here, want to see good damage control on the side of X10.
Dim beacon down.
To hold on to these weapons. Redguard looking as if he's just playing X here, but a couple of zipline rotations coming through. Potential to backstab A main here. I mean, Cruz has got to be careful. You see he's potentially set up for a fault line, I guess, towards drop. Yeah, again, we just want to hold him. Actually, wisely enough, X10 X elsewhere.
Does he catch anyone? Yeah, nice work from him to at least get one. How much do they get away with? Gambit, careful now. Yeah, actually, very clean from X10. That's great. Ticking the box right there. This is the building blocks that could close the gap. But it has to keep happening. It can't be these one-offs. It can't be odds and ends. The buy is going to come out eventually for Gambit, and this is the one we need to pay attention to. This could be the big round, and it's not a perfect purchase either.
I think as well, we making the comparison to defense, it's much easier for X10 to maintain this pace on attack, right? And again, if they get a couple of, like you said, the building blocks, the foundations to find some pressure points, it's harder for Gambit on these buy rounds to play so aggressively. You know, things like the fault line set up for Defo. Wouldn't expect to see them every single time. Patty straight away, look at that.
Defo,
ruthless.
Just being the backbone right now of Gambit, catching a couple of these moments and really quelling that early aggression. And Foxy, what? How are you so good at adjusting to that? He was in the middle of nowhere, he had no right, and neither does Shados. The flash couldn't have been better. The follow-up does not happen though. And another bloody battle between these two as Redgar is chomping at the bit just around that corner. You know they know he's there though. They're clearing this and they're thinking, feels like there could be someone on the case. There's that door open. Redgar says hello, and Nats finds Sushi Boys. It's going to be on Scary now, and he's got so much to get through. They jump in the corners. He knows he's pinned in. And Gambit get back on track. The rifles get upgraded, and they make it to 11.
Really, X10, one feasible round here in terms of the purchase. Again, we'll have to see actually what the knock-on effect of that bonus round was. As you see, actually, ultimates online as well, but Patty just so desperate to find that first blood. But hats off to Foxy, like you said, actually just comes through here as soon as they feel that pressure towards Hall. Foxy knows that there's probably going to be an opening there for him to find it. So actually not as bad. Actually on the side of X10, it's only one Spectre, and like I said, a couple of ultimates online.
Now, I do want to open this up to the bigger picture though, because I think the death started quite well, that when we look at this map pool, there's potential for X10, absolutely. I think even if you looked at like the Envy map pool, you'd still probably put it with them, and obviously X10 outdid them, but let's kind of call it what it is. Fracture was quite a big win condition here, I think. There was at least a big opportunity.
Absolutely.
And now we're starting to lean towards this being closed out potentially by Gambit. They've got a nice buffer right back on this. They should be able to build, keep that money away from X10, which now becomes an issue purely with the amount of rounds left. Yeah,
and I think as well in terms of the mental, I don't think X10 are probably a team that are going to be knocked by a big defeat here on Fracture. Again, they come back in blank canvas, really map by map, and we saw that particularly in the MV series. I think was a really good example of that. But you got to say it's. I don't want to say it's pinned on this one map. There's still a chance.
There's always a chance.
Tom was leaning a little heavier in favour One Direction, but
he likes One Direction.
He does. Huge Harry Styles fan, actually.
Yeah. He's got the posters.
Never stops talking about it.
No. It must be upsetting with his lack of hair. He always wanted that. Main speak. Oh, Defo's right back to business.
What?
He got the tink. He thought he'd done it. Cruises on 7 HP. Well, I guess they get another bite of the cherry, and Gambit. What is going on in this round? What is happening right now?
Now Foxy, he's got to hold on to underpass here. Redgar will be able to escape, but the res comes through, nullifying that kill that X10 did find. Cosmic Divide goes up. We've got everything thrown into this round.
It's going to be 12 otherwise. It's got to be now, or it might just be never. Scary going to try and clear a little bit of safety for himself, give himself a bit of area to play in amongst. And where are they off to? I'm looking at that zip wire. This actually could be insane if this works out.
No
Foxy,
way.
what have you got up your sleeve? Is that a rifle down as well? That could be a nice upgrade, because he's only got the Spectre right now. And this could be huge for him. He decides not to do it. He's seen everything. We've seen this before. Glimpses of the past. Remember the Fnatic game. Can he do what he needs to? That's one down. He can clear, he can confirm. He knows where these players are. Brilliant information now relayed. The gap going to close in, and time being bought here. They have nothing in this one. Scary is there. Shados. Wait, what is going on? He needs to get the diffuser down, as he does. And X10 give themselves another round. That flank by Foxy's was fantastic.
Beautiful stuff, but everything thrown into that round will make it very difficult. Again, only one survives coming out of that, and we know already with the one Spectre purchase there, potential to see a knock-on effect there in terms of the finances, but again, Gambit play that around the res perfectly. They can be aggressive here. You know, the potential they can find a player or two on the extremity plate. It is. That was the one I was talking about the other day.
Yeah, I see it now.
That's not cheap.
No, I can imagine it's not. So let's talk about what this has done knock-on-wise, because it's taking the money away from Gambit now. Swings and roundabouts between these two. He wants to post this, and it might be the right destination. Right to the pocket of Scary, and that's now, I think, a rifle down if it can be recovered. Sushi Boys is just praying for timing, praying for it to be right. He only gets one. Quick trade for Nats, though. And now the advantage in numbers at least sits with Gambit. 2 rifles now on the deck as well. Foxy, oh no way! He couldn't even turn around in time. Redgar gets the freest kill of his life. And now Patty and Cruz put in a bad spot here. Can they make anything out of this one?
Actually, 3 rifles in the hands of Gambit here, so...
Last player standing.
Shados, man, deletes Patty. Wow. That's just Cruz left.
And I don't think he's loving this one. Absolutely not. All that utility being poured in. So many obstacles in the way. Do what you can. Can he deny it, at least for now?
Get half?
This is good for Cruz. He's giving himself some time. The flag! Oh my word, Cruz! It's game back on! Maybe, just maybe, there's still some life in it. The time is there! And by the absolute tiniest of margins, X10 carry on.
I mean, these aren't comfortable. Again, you talk about repeatable successes here.
Oh, we're not
these
even...
are coming down right to the wire.
Absolutely not. A 1v3 post line like that. You had all the utility poured in, these sort of freebies coming out for Gambit. Yeah, okay, just do that time and time again. Look at this work coming out. Cruz, though. What an absolute man made of ice right now. So calm in that. Oh, there it is. That's the calmness. There it is. That's the composure right there.
Again, actually, yeah, looking a little, I don't want to say frustrated, but almost wanting to close this out.
They do look a
couple of rounds ago, right? There's would have been the expectation with that first half. So here again, X10, so many bodies behind. It's only Sushi Boys elsewhere. And Gambit this time playing a little deeper, respecting this almost. Fox is ready to enable Patty here. You can see inside on the X-ray. If anything gets detected there, but Patty straight onto site here. Shados will finally open it though, traded out. Chronicle finds 2.
Down, B. One
yeah, this is
remaining.
looking like 12 is now beckoning Scary in a 1v4. Gonna get one, you're gonna prove me wrong again. Surely not. Scary, just how much more can you do? Smoke goes in, and he edges closer. Redgar is on the other side, but timing is everything. He has to back away.
The
Steps
show
get
actually
noted.
hit him.
Yeah. It looks like Defo is very much watching this, adamant that he will not let go of that. Picks up the spike, and now they know he's got to be there. Surely they've seen that vanish. Yeah, they have now. Those shots are going to confirm it. 25 seconds. Can he get around towards that A side? Is he going to go for it, or does he try and double pump? Let's see what you got, Scary.
I'm looking at the minimap here. Defo hasn't confirmed the spike being taken here.
Surely.
And again, Gambit can wait. It's a 3v1.
I'd rather
you
them
got
play
to argue
safety
that
on.
should lean
10 seconds left.
in their favor. Again, they can wait out the spike plant.
But he can get into a dirty little post plant,
Yes.
right? Like he's got so much
planted.
time to play with. He doesn't necessarily know that, so I wonder how far he explores. But he has plenty of time to try and do something, but they're staying as a pack. All 3 players together. Scary on the other side of this corner. Here's one, takes one, and tries to back away. They're going to try and close the gap, though. They want to get as close as they can to the Scary on the swing. He gave it everything he had. 3 kills, but Redgar prevails, and it'll be 12 on the board for Gambit. You can't say that X10 aren't trying.
And again, one that comes down to just one left standing in this round. And again, Scary plays that perfectly. He has to look for a kill. He has to kind of stop them before they can make use of this head count. Or the man advantage, I should say. And Chronicle, though, just beautiful hold by him.
God tier from him there. Very sharp. Timeout.
Again, I think now with these being so scrappy back and forth, yes, there's a little bit of a loss bonus, but the economy's got to be struggling on the side of X10. And then you think back to that round where everything's invested just to get one more on the board.
But it's tricky, right? Because we just had 2 rounds, but one actually worked out. It was a 1v3 and he pulls it off. And that was another situation very similar to that. And it was down to a 1v1. It was as close as you could get. He did everything right. I don't think you can really question how hard he had to fight in that one, and it almost worked out. I don't think anyone can say they are not giving it literally everything. Like, bear in mind that round had Chronicle pick 3 up on that site push. That normally, the percentage chance of them then turning that around is wild, but 7-12 is not highlighting how close some of these rounds have been between these two.
No, that's actually on the flip side of that, Gambit. A credit to them, they withstand a barrage of utility after X10 creep closer and closer inside those smokes you saw in the previous round.
That is not looking healthy.
Odds and ends. Pots and pans, as Sean would say.
Not sure what that means.
I think everything but the kitchen sink, pots and pans.
Is that all you got in your kitchen?
Don't do much cooking, so.
Back in we go. 12-7. Gambit do now have map point in the pocket. Now they just need to get across the line. Defo, can he keep that composure that has resonated so well with him? Look at everything being poured at this man, and he still stands. Oh, he refuses to relent. Defo standing up to the test this time. Finding that balance. He's been over-aggressive, and this time it's looked just right. But these boys have clutched out so many times before, so I feel like I can't say it yet until the final man falls. It's down to Scary again. A 1v4 presented and only a Spectre by the side. And sadly, it looks like it's done for. He gets put to the grave, and 13-7 for Gambit comes across the line. That, however, was a very close game in some of these rounds. Gambit, though, had a couple of individuals really find their form. I've got to say it, Defo to me initially, safe pair of hands. Second half, excelled.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, in this, he's kind of switching off the jet. He has to still maintain that level of pressure or, I guess, control in these opening engagements. And he did just that. Redguard with some great enablers, great setups for him. But again, Patty, man. He gave it everything in that first half. Again, there was a big gap on the scoreboard just because how much X10 were trying to build around him, how many times he was the last alive, still keeping X10 in some of these rounds. Now, I think we think back to some of the discussion before this map started. You think about how actually, stylistically, this is a very difficult matchup for Gambit. And again, you think regionally, some of the teams they're tested by, it's actually a good look to see Gambit pile on the pressure and meet a team toe-to-toe.
And that's something I hope the desk will expand on, is kind of the stylistic expectation of Gambit and where the downfall can be, and somehow like maybe X10 can actually exploit that a bit, push them to play out of their comfort zone potentially. And you're right, they did actually find this, and this was again one of those moments where they almost clutched this out. Like, how many of these rounds were so close? And what a wake-up call for Gambit. They have to now stay sharp in this. You give that a little bit of weakness, you know that vulnerability will be found by X10. But again, it was the map going Gambit's way, and now we have to look towards the rest of the map pool, which I think, if most people aren't, you know, huffing the copium, it does now swing towards Gambit's favor.
It does, yeah. Again, whether or not X10 are going to be able to pull something out of the bag, how much is, I don't want to say, steam is left in the engine, so to say, but it's tough now to look at the rest of this veto and not lean in Gambit's favor, I think.
Yeah, I'm a little saddened it wasn't closer in rounds. I feel like there was a bit of fire coming in for X10 there, but it was quelled eventually by Gambit. However, 2 more maps potentially. It could go all through. We'll have to see what X10 have, or it could be the 2-0 for Gambit. We're going to head to a break, and when we're back, the desk will talk you through it.
Oh.